Yo, metalheads, this episode of Metal Massacre is brought to you by BigDobsBeardBalm.com. You know him, you know the man, you love him. Treat your beard to the best. Since 2016, it's made by a beardsmith for the betterment of beard kind. All natural ingredients, easily searchable, nothing hiding in there. Handcrafted in small batches for a high-quality product. He likes working with barbers, stylists, tattoo artists. No minimum orders required, but wholesale is available. What is the beard balm? What does it do? Well, first of all, it makes you look nice and suave, nice and clean. He's also got a full-on barbery degree. I don't think that's the right word, but I'm not a barber. He actually crafts beards, cuts hair. The guy's in the industry. Big Dob's the man. He's here in Omaha, right local with us, and so that's how we found out about him. He's got his products all sorts of places. You can usually catch him at lots of different festivals or catering events if you're here locally. He has a barber service open in Lincoln right now. And other than that, like I said, he's got tattoo goo that we use to keep your tattoos nice and shiny, whether they're brand new and need a little love, or like I said, they're a little old and they're a little sun beat up. They'll freshen them up for a night out on the town. And like I said, lots of products, creams, oils, salves, all of the above, with multiple different scents and multiple different styles, so you can craft the you that you want. BigDobsBeardBalm.com. Check it out and let them know that we sent you with the promo code METAL, and you can get 20% off your order. Hell yeah, let's get into the show.
Of course, they're doing my lawn right now. In the background.
They put you in that Midwest mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
The sound of a leaf blower, the sound of opening beers. I'm trying to think of Midwestern things. Sound
People
of
yelling. I don't know.
I was going to say like frogs on a quiet lake, but that sounds somehow more southern, even though it's
that's
real.
like swampy vibes.
That's that swamp shit.
Probably just like June bugs.
June bugs.
Cicadas, you know?
Yeah.
That makes me think of the Midwest.
The sound of corn shucking.
What? Is there a sound of that?
I don't think so. I'm gonna pop this beer.
I don't know.
One of the most Midwestern sounds you can make.
There you go.
That and ope and the wind. Anything about the wind. But we all know that. Sounds like trying to talk about Nebraska people say runs this. But I mean, fuck, dude, Ohio is considered the Midwest. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's very like close to like Pennsylvania Dutch half the time too. So I mean, like, it's wild that Colorado is specifically not the Midwest. It is like the West, but it's, I don't know, man.
It's like right in between. Like, honestly, I consider like it's like Colorado is kind of, when you first start driving, it's like that first 90 minutes to Denver is still the Midwest.
Yeah.
And then once you hit Denver, you're like in the mountains. And the mountains aren't really part of the West. They're just kind of their own
It's
thing.
the gateway to the West.
Yeah.
But that's what St. Louis says with their stupid arch thing.
I like the mountains and I hate driving through the mountains. So whenever I would go to Colorado, I'd just fly, or I'd refuse to drive.
Like, I'm not doing this
I'd
again.
be like, I'll go, but I'm not driving.
Because the only thing that's cool out in that portion of Nebraska is the Sandhills, and that's north. Like, you don't go to Colorado generally that way.
No.
And like, it looks cool out there. Fucking sandhill cranes and shit. If any of you haven't ever like aren't aware of how fucking big a sandhill crane is, I want you to Google it. And then I want you to also then Google like the Nebraska sand crane migration. And that's also one of the most Midwestern things I've ever said.
Don't do what he says.
Do it. And marvel at the fact that there are millions of these not very tiny birds all at the same time. I'll admit that I've never given a fuck enough to actually go see it. I've lived here my whole life, but it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild to think about. Like millions of dinosaurs, bro. It's as close as you can get to that now. What do you want from me?
I don't know what I want from you. At this point, I'm not sure anymore.
Doesn't matter. Anyways, welcome to Metal Massacre Coast to Coast. I just scored that so hard. Just, nah. It's Metal Massacre Coast to Coast. Obviously, if you're a visual YouTuber, this would highly recommend that for this one.
Yeah.
But more than that, we're a podcast first and foremost. If you're new here, I am your czar of Nar, Dustin. I have Lucian, the weirdo with the beardo over there. We do a lot of interviews on this show, and this week we actually we scheduled in time just to do a one-on-one where we could hang out with you guys, maybe check out some videos, fuck around. But we have some topics because it is still a heavy metal show. We did want to talk basically, what is mosh pitting? What is it? What does it mean? What does it do? Let's talk about what it does. But that's like a loose format. Really just wanted to hang out with you guys. We hit the break week where we gave you a game pod. We've done 3 full episodes, 4. So this would be like 5 or 6, depending on where it drops. But again, like I said, we found our flow. We found a rhythm. Now we have a scheduling program, again, at least like once per week. We've been getting all of the things sewed down. And so now it was time. We're like, you know what? We still need to do the local stuff, like we were mentioning. We still need to do... there's a few genres that like we have been trying to like bookend almost every one of the genres and really be versatile in that regard, I suppose. But more so, we're just trying to promote some cool, get some headlining bands on this thing, but also promote a lot of bands like Hot Milk that we've had on like recently.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah, really fun, interesting people that play a smattering of a bunch of different styles that are all aggressive and kind of punk or metal by nature. So like, it's been a lot of fun to dive outside of my normal box of listening as well.
Yeah, I'll say that we've gotten some pretty interesting stuff in the last 2 seasons. The first season was kind of just us curating what we wanted, taking big swings. Maybe we would get the interview, maybe we wouldn't, and we still kind of do that here and then, like on Instagram and stuff. Follow us on Instagram, Metal Massacre Podcast. But a lot of this is also like we work with a PR agency that like will come to us and be like, hey, do you like what these guys do? And I've just noticed that lately it's like a little more outside of the box than normal, but it's always like really enjoyable. Like it's stuff that I think I want to talk about. I never feel like we're doing a band in an interview and I'm just kind of not there for it. Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fact that we're getting the stuff we're getting. And we're getting the opportunity to like maybe do some stuff I don't want to say we're not comfortable with, but like we're not experts in. You know what I mean? So then like we're kind of learning too, and I think that makes it fun.
Well, 1,000%, man. Like that's something that when you start something creatively, no matter what it is, there's a lot of shit where you know that the direction you have to steer in, but there's also so many things that if you tried to plan for them, you'd go fucking insane. Because like they're, that's half the fun of doing anything artistic is let's see where it ends up. Some people are very diligent and like very rigid in a format, and a lot of that time it's great for like a news program. It's great for someone who's like, I listen to like a lot of, because I'm a dork, I listen to like a lot of sports podcasting, whether it's skateboarding or sumo or baseball, football, the things I listen to a lot of, and that's just sports talk radio, which would make some people want to just absolutely rip their eyes out of their head because it's so boring. Even growing up, I remember my grandpa and stuff would listen to sports talk radio, and like I now realize though that where I'm going with this is that looking back, can you remember what we talk about all the time where it's like, thank you for being a good guest. Thank you for being a good something and like really giving us something. And, like, I know everybody on this show that we've had on has been interesting in their own right and fashion, but there's some people that are natural entertainers. Yeah. That's why it's like when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, this is so boring, grandpa. But then like, can you imagine spending like 4 to 6 hours straight having to talk like inside Cubs baseball and
insane.
And then be any modicum of entertaining, even to the people that are really into it. And B, then you got like Larry G from outside of Birmingham, Canada. What you got, bud? Like, I think what they need to do is they need to pull, and like this guy has the most crackpot bullshit theory, armchair quarterback. Like looking into sports reporting or the people that like do the UFC commentating where you run a desk or you do a sports show. I have such an appreciation for it now. Yeah,
like, it's
someone has to run a show.
I went to school for broadcasting and media studies, and some of the shit you learn there, what they do in that kind of schooling is they go, okay, do this, and they give you an example, and then they go, now we're gonna rip you the fuck apart and do it differently. And it's like, oh fuck, I can't repeat like any of the things I said. I have to do it in a different tone. Like when you're doing broadcasting, there's an art to it, and I can appreciate that for sure. And it's like once you kind of see the way it's done, it's really creepy to kind of like watch the news. Because like they'll all say it in the same tone and in the same delivery, the same script for every single news channel. It's like, who's writing these scripts? You know what I mean? Like, I'm so glad that we live in an era where podcasting has become mainstream, because it's like we don't have to really lean into the traditional sense of broadcasting, I guess. And that you can allows more freedom.
Take definitely, like, there's things you can take from him. I mean, like things that are just good broadcasting habits, I'd suppose.
Oh, for sure.
I suppose it's the same way to think about it, like genres of music, not just to make a quick pun here, but since that's what we talk about all the time on this channel is different genres and different styles. What got us into this was like, there's someone that could get into broadcasting, but would be a great sideline reporter for a football game, or like a great color commentator, or like a news anchor. Or like you could go on, but I mean, like, and also like a Stephen Colbert kind of type, where like you have, or you know, name your preferred late night talk show host, where everything has got to be like an oiled machine. It's quick. Here's the monologue. Now get the fuck off and set change, costume change, introduce this person. You got someone in your headset the whole time. Like, I watch a lot of fight sports. Like, I'm a big sports fan all the way around, and I know that like that it's not just because I'm enamored with them and that's the content that I'm usually soaking in, but it's very much that's like the bridge in between, where you completely are doing almost performative acting, where you have to be like, yes, thanks Tom, back to you now, like that kind of shit, where then you also have to elaborate and be able to get out a point, but a point in like 25 seconds, because there's a producer, again, your headset being like, all right, we're about to cut to you, camera 3, you gotta give him about 20 seconds on how Charles Oliveira's next run of fights are gonna go, and be like 20 seconds. You still got to be off the cuff, off the top. Like, I think that sports reporting is something that, it's not that it's like undervalued or underlooked, because a lot of people are very famous just for that. I think it's actually one of like the few times where you can think of like Stephen A. Smith. Like, people know who that is, even if you don't give a fuck about basketball or don't have cable.
Right.
Like, I think that's actually like one of the more popular styles of person. But you also have to think about, like, you know, if we're talking to someone in LA, Good Morning LA on Channel 5 or what the fuck, that's like 9 million people potentially watching you every morning, whether you feel like it or not. But you have to do the same job as someone in Toledo, Ohio. Like, I don't know. It's broadcasting, especially because now that we have found podcasting, like, both of us have had to learn a little bit of how to do, like, cut promos and like read or do videos, make TikToks. And both of us have different skill sets with stuff. But like, I don't mind doing the news reporting kind of stuff a little bit more, but I am going to agree with you that this is the lane. I've always wanted, broadcasting is something that I wanted to do. It's just great that you know, for better or worse, because there's 10 trillion podcasts. Anybody can do it. And like, this is a direct avenue to be able to practice and grow and do something creative. Like, it's a lot of fun, and the fact that anybody gives a shit and are listening or booking shows with us has always been humbling in a way to me, like, which is very cool. So,
I'm continuing to have a good time doing this, and as long as we keep getting cool shows and people dig what we're doing, I'm down to do it. But yeah, today we're talking about moshing, kind of something we haven't really discussed yet. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. It feels like something that it's come up in peripherally. You know, we've just never really sat down and talked about it. But it's not going to be like an educational episode. I just wanted to get like both of our experiences and both of our thoughts. Like, when was the first time you even saw a mosh pit?
You know, I feel like I have a vague memory of like people doing some slam dancing. Because, okay, so this could just be old hat for people that have listened since the beginning. But we play in a band together, and my dad's in that band with us, and he formed it. It's called Molten. But I bring that up because growing up, my dad was in bands and lots of projects. So I guess I have a very unique perspective on having like what is band practice like, what is moshing, like some of this peripheral stuff. Like, I grew up listen, they practice in my room. I lived in the basement, and they've had like a sound room in the basement that was just like they padded and foamed out like a small, like what would have been like a supply closet, basically, that was just big enough for a drum kit wide to wide. And then they would just practice in there. And like I lived in like the basement actual room in that house. And so like I mean, I grew up, like I said, at playing GameCube and not even be able to hear the Madden 02 soundtrack because they're playing fucking like hard rock and metal in my basement. But
that's awesome.
The first mosh pit, I have some vague memories of some slam dancing when my dad's band played a festival sort of thing. It was, this would be very local as well, but here in Omaha, there's what we call Exarban now. It's always been called Exarban, but like that's just Nebraska backwards. It used to be like a stockyard kind of place where they would throw, and it was like really industrial. Now it's like a high-end shopping, like a high-end shopping center and condos, like every fucking thing else. But
yeah, right down the street from my house, actually.
But there's a park that really doesn't do anything anymore. But it used to be, when that was like the outlier of Exarban, the Hy-Vee up on like 50th and Center. Behind it, there's a park that's got a basketball court and then like a wide open area that used to be butted up to Exarban. That would be a spot that throw outdoor concerts. And I remember I had to have been like 9, maybe 8 or 9 was like the first mosh pit I think I saw, because they were playing, and it was more, like I said, it was more just like 90s slam dancing around. And like it was pretty busy, but you know how outdoor festivals in like a summer park series kind of are, like if there's 1,000, knocking shit over. If there's 1,000 people there, probably 100 care. And everybody else is just kind of jamming to the music and wandering around and buying from vendors. And my dad's band was playing a bunch of originals and a bunch of covers for like a while. They're like 1 or 2 bands. And
nice.
I should probably ask him about that. I bet he would kind of remember it, actually. But so I think that was like the first time, because we've played shows with Green Jelly. There was like a 8 or 9-year-old kid that got on stage one of those times just screaming his fucking head off into the microphone. So
that was cool.
Probably a similar age to like that kid, but also not that wild. That kid's gonna grow up to do drugs. But
I think mine was my first like ever was My Chemical Romance and Green Day at the Quest Center, and it was just push moshing. Like it was just basic stuff. But then freshman year, I believe, or maybe 8th grade year, I don't remember. I went and saw the Sacrament tour, Lamb of God. And they did the Wall of Death, and it was just, I saw 2 guys fucking fight in front of me, and like it was insane. And that was like my first big experience with moshing, and I remember being like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Like and like I guess as I got older, I kind of did, and then like had fun doing more push moshing and just being a goofball. I never really liked hardcore dancing. I don't know. I just thought like, listen, I don't like the way I look when I move around sometimes in the first place. I don't want to like do it more, like I'm just like, no, I'm good with that. Like it's good. And as I got older, I was just kind of like, I'll like headbang and like move around and dance and do my thing and knock my, oh, this is great, isn't it? And have a good time and cheers, but like, that's what I'm here for. I'm just here to relax and have a good time. And as weird as it sounds, heavy ass music relaxes me, and
it's your
I think a lot of people
Adderall
can
when you
relate
actually
to
have that issue.
So I'm just like, no, I'm good. Like I'm just gonna drink a few beers and hang out, like, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. As I get older, it's like I can't even trust farts anymore, dude. Like I'm just like, you think I'm gonna fucking get drunk and I'm gonna break a tooth or something, something's gonna happen to me. And you've had this experience. We just talked about this the other time. Like I'm fragile, man. I'm a big fragile dude, and I'm like, no, I'm good. See, that's why I should never go to prison, because I'm like not a huge guy, but I'm not small. But if it's like a prison full of small dudes, then I'm the biggest guy there. Everyone's gonna kick my ass.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, dude, stop.
Who's the biggest motherfucker in the room? Like, unfortunately, me.
I'm sorry. Like, you're the 3rd new guy today. Leave me alone.
You're a taller dude. Yeah, I mean, like you're above 6 foot. I mean, like you're 6, probably 1, 2, somewhere in that range. Because your dad's real tall. I'm just under 6 foot, and you're 2 or 3 inches taller than me.
My dad's a fucking mutant. He's like 6'2" or 6'3", I think. I don't know. I think I'm like right at 6 foot.
Yeah, a little. help me out. You're a little taller than that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm 6'5". Dustin's very tall. No,
Thank you. No, I'm a stubby Irish asshole. I mean, I'm not the shortest. I'm like 5'11", but
yeah, I don't know, man. Like especially given like my family's history with health issues, I'm like, the last thing I fucking need is, oh yeah, I fucking have a black eye and a busted lip and all that, and it's gotten close a couple times in mosh pits, and like even when I push mosh and people get angry and stupid shit happens, and I've never really gotten hurt per se, mostly because I'm like off to, if there's a mosh pit and I'm at the show and you're like, oh, Lucian's here, you can find me either in the back or off to the right of the mosh pit. I have learned my lesson. I don't go in the front of the mosh pit anymore because you end up getting
ran into.
On. I was at a Death Clock show and this dude was, you remember that episode with Toki where he like beats the shit out of that dude at the fucking episode?
He's just in his ear going, woo!
No, this dude, I'm standing in like the fucking, what would be like the 5th row in front of the stage. And this dude puts his hands on my shoulders and starts using my body to pogo up and down and like pushing on my shoulders like I fucking know the guy or some shit. And I was like, what the fuck? So I like threw a bow and then I just like walked back and I was like, I'm not doing that shit, bro. Like,
yeah,
get the fuck off of me. Like, people are weird. I hate being touched.
Well, then
like,
see, this is not for you.
It's not my thing, bro. I like metal and I like heavy metal and I like jamming. Here's the thing. If I want to be touched or do something weird, like I'm gonna like get on stage and like punch Jake or something. You know what I mean? Like I would rather have some fun physical experience in a controlled environment where I can like be like, I'm gonna climb on this PA and fucking jump off and be a weirdo. Like rather do that than like, hey, I'm gonna put myself in a stampede of elephants and like hope that I don't get a fucking concussion or whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm old.
Well,
I don't. What can I say?
Here's the half the reason that we're doing this episode is because I fucking loved it. I love it. I'm in the middle of it, throwing hands. That's having a good time, and that's also why we're talking about it today. Is because I'm still got 3 cracked ribs with some separated cartilage from well, what are we talking about? And like,
what exactly happened for the listeners? Because I've heard 2 different stories, by the way.
Okay, so
you want to know what I heard?
Yeah, well, we know what you heard because it's also based in truth.
Okay,
was just full School of Rock, no one catch you.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard you School of Rock stage dive, and I was like, fuck.
Well,
it's a little worse than that, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So, which means better, but also worse.
Better story.
Yeah. Well, the bands were sick. It was a lot of fun the whole time. Like Spirit World ruled. Fucking. We've profiled them on the show once. Ice Wrist, they're local. They were great. Fucking awesome, perfect fit. But Terror is the headlining band, and we're saving it all for pretty much then. Everyone's already there's a lot of straight edge kids, so I mean, like the people that are straight edge, they're ready to throw down. The people that are drunk, it's not like it's a war between the two, but we're violently drunk at this point. Yeah. And like it was more just that, like, so it was a culmination of damage. Because I remember the moment where the guy was just like throwing, because I mean, I was instigating, don't get me wrong. My favorite thing to do is once you get in there and you get the temperature gauge going of how violent is this going to get. I'm not the guy that's crowd killing. That's not my thing. And honestly, I don't like those people. The people that are just slamming motherfuckers into a wall, or they're punching you in the back of the head, like you trying to stand up and like, hey, I'll push you guys. I don't care if I get ran into. That's half the fun. But like, I'm not in it. I'm forming the ring, so you're not on the stage.
This is a separate thing.
But hardcore is like the worst offender of that, because half the time the bands are like, get on the stage, and fucking do shit with us, and like, or they're playing a floor show where there is no stage. You are in it. Like if you ever watch videos of This Is Hardcore, it's fucking crazy. They put it on. It's like Baltimore. It's somewhere on the East Coast. But yeah, if you guys have never, if you're not really into hardcore, just search This Is Hardcore or the photographer Hate56. Like, follow it. You'll see. Everyone's seen that meme of the guy doing the hardcore dancing, the fucking stupid ass, like from harm's way.
Stage,
and like that's that festival where they took that, and you can see like all the people, like 100 of them doing the fucking 2-step or whatever. Like, I also don't care much for like the penny pinching, like down to hardcore dancing shit. I'm literally just there to have fun and gauge the room. So to say what I was saying is, my favorite thing to do is if people are getting fucking down, like there's people throwing punches, I'm just going to start grabbing people by the shirt and pulling them one direction as hard as I possibly can. And then throw. just grabbing people by the shirt and fucking throwing them.
And I'll like, be at the bar just like, well, this is neat.
So again, I'm ruining people's shirts and I'm punching people. I get it. But I'm also not the guy that's going to do that if people don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. But everyone at Terror wanted to. Like, that was the thing, is there was like 50 people in this fucking pit of a place that holds 250 people.
Yeah.
So like it was wild. But at the same time, I remember exactly what happened. I had already done 2 stage dives successfully. It was just fine. Got thrown around, kind of got tossed off, fall on your side, move around. No big deal. It was that this guy's coming across the pit and I'm not seeing him. And he's just fucking throwing his hands and he moves, just throws an elbow full power. He's not the biggest guy, but also not the smallest guy because I'm a big enough dude. But he just caught me exactly. My hands are up. He's caught just right in the side of the, and I felt it. I felt it go like, and I was like, like at the same time, what did we say before we started this story? Violently drunk. Didn't really care. Was just like, fuck it.
To that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep throwing hands and threw it, like punch that dude right back. Had a good, I ended up actually dapping up the guy a little bit because I punched him just full on, just threw a hand and hit him in the top of the head. So we were like, we're good. Like we're all just fucking around. But then I do one more stage dive. Dumb idea for 2 reasons. One, because you gotta look where you're going. Like 2 guys were there. More people were there when I jumped. They're like, this guy, fuck this guy. Got out of the way. Just let me go, dude. 2 guys tried. They really didn't give a shit. They're just like over to the side. Flat on the back, bro. Just flat on the back. Like there were like 5 or 6 people, and I wasn't trying to like smash them too hard. Trying to surf, but like we're like, nope, and just pushed off to the side, flat on my back. That's like a 6-foot fall. And now the biggest thing is that the ribs are already fucking absolutely cooked at this point. They're steamed, they're smoked, 12-hour brisket. I fucking, according to Taylor, get up, our buddy who was there with us, and he goes, dude, are you okay? And I looked at him lovingly, grabbed his arms on our shoulders. It's like, who doesn't even care, bud? That doesn't make sense. Who knows? Like, got to ride home, got out of there. Josh, my buddy, the other one that was probably like, hey, where's Dusty? He's like, oh no, car's gone, got a ride, he's out of here. And I was home, already Advil's deep, like, dude, mistakes were made. Maybe we'll feel better tomorrow. Ribs are gonna suck for a couple weeks. Man, I woke up at like 3 a.m, just being like, I rolled my wife over, be like, I can't move. I can't sit up, bud. We need to call the doctor. So went and got x-rays, and they're like, your back's fine. You just landed on it really hard. It's all good. It's going to suck for like 5 days. No biggie. Your ribs, however, you broke 2 and separated cartilage in them. And I was like, oh. Please do. Honestly, very, very close.
Yeah,
one guy.
That dude was right there. I thought about that as I did it. I was like, that dude was right there, and that was the dude elbowing you.
Yeah, except for instead of on your face, it's on their back. So like, yeah, you know. Regardless, though, I mean, this is honestly one of the worst that I've ever been beat up doing that, and I think it was just a freak thing, really. At the end of the day, I mean, like
1 in a million chances.
Yeah, this is like, not to be a douchebag about it, but like this in my life, like this is the biggest and strongest and most weightlifting I've done.
God, you're such a douchebag.
I am, but like the point is that like, so I've been in just as violent interactions, smaller. It's just right place, right time, or wrong place, wrong time, however you want to look at it. That like, honestly, if I hadn't already fucked my ribs up, day would have been different. We'd have been fine.
Yeah.
But here we are, still like got that like 8-week prognosis, been like, hey buddy, for 2 months, everything's gonna suck pretty much constantly. It's been 3 weeks and some change to like the day, and I'm feeling better. But like anytime I do that, it still feels like there's a fat bruise in there. You can still move them. But again, that this whole episode's about me and my problems. But I was like, the last mosh pit I was in, which is the reason why we're talking about this, is like some damage. I also took like a bit of a spill at work, like the same fucking day. So I was just again a culmination of falling on my back multiple times, getting hit in the ribs, falling on some rocks. It was bad all the way around, man. Yeah. How dare you? How dare you? But mosh pitting though, like, dude, honestly, I didn't learn a fucking thing. I'll be back. But it's at the same time, I just always enjoyed it. I think that like it's very uniquely. We've talked about it before. Like I think my dad again to bring him up just because he's got an older perspective than us. So like in the 90s, Kurt Cobain hated that shit. And like, I think the Smashing Pumpkins were also a band that were like, no moshing at our shows. We don't want to see that dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like just because it did get like in the 90s, especially it got really bro machismo douchebag.
Oh yeah. Like even like bands like Limp Bizkit with break stuff. When they played Woodstock 99 and like destroyed the whole place.
Mm-hmm. Ruined Woodstock for life.
Like, oh, I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Talk about.
I have no idea what you mean inciting violence. So
it reminds me of that Like a Boss where he's like, and you chopped your own dick off and blacked out in the sewer. He's like, nah, that ain't me. That was Fred Durst when they were like, hey, why did you tell everyone to fucking destroy this place? He's like, nah, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Why would you do that?
Got in his fucking limo and left.
But I mean, like, I think that they started really cracking down on it about then. I mean, we were talking, we're not gonna do like the origins, the history of it all, but like, I mean, because this is probably one of those nuanced things, just to touch on it lightly, would be like basic research. You can Google it. It's like that. It started basically in like the late 70s to 80s, South California, thrasher shit, Metallica, that kind of stuff.
In
like
DC too, yeah, like punk and push moshing kind of started it.
Yeah, and East Coast hardcore push moshing. Yeah, West Coast circle pitting, running around. Europe
evolved, you know.
Europe has some of the craziest mosh pits around. South America goes fucking wild. There was just recently a video that System of a Down put out from the last time they went to Brazil, and it looks like a scene from Lord of the Rings. It's insane.
I love why Slipknot calls their fans maggots. Clown said that they played a show that was so big that it looked like it's just a bunch of maggots rattling around instead of people, because there were so many people there that you couldn't even see like people. You just saw like shapes moving and shit. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like
that is pretty
it's
sweet.
True. You ever see those big like fucking what is it? Who's Nick Terrible's band or whatever? Alex Terrible, whatever. Yeah,
Slaughter to Prevail.
They did like the world's biggest wall of death. I saw that video, like, which those of you who don't know what the wall of death is, you pretty much split a crowd down the middle and put them at the sides, and then they all run as fast as they can at each other. And it's just like, it's like what you would imagine a war is like. There's people like, oh my God. And people like getting like just trampled and rocked and fucking clotheslined and shit. Then you got people that are just like lying on the ground crying and shit. Like, it's like, you feel like you're in a war zone. It's nuts. I didn't participate in the first wall of death that I ever saw at Lamb of God, because I was like, it's dark. This is the old Sokol Auditorium with like uneven wooden floor. And I'm like, I'm 14. I'm 14 years old, man. Like this, I'm totally good on this. Like, I
think like that reminds me as well. Like one of the other ones that was like less violent, but completely different. Like when I saw like more just like, the first time I saw like hardcore dancing and just like bodies flying around with like no regard was the Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah.
Like, because I was in 8th grade, I believe.
Well, I remember you going to that show, actually.
I was in 8th grade when I went and saw Slipknot, and that was like one of the first like big arena shows that I went and saw like, on my own.
Yeah.
But no, like I mean, like it was my freshman year when I went and saw the Dropkick Murphys. So I think I was in English with you. I think that was that year. I talked about it because I also remember seeing my fucking soccer coach and econ teacher there, who was a principal for a little while, Mr. Lundquist. Regardless, cool dude.
I digress.
Because there's different styles, like you said, you know, like there's the more like it also depends on the amount of people, not just the style of music or like the culture.
You know, one style I can always get down with though is Viking rowing.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of a good. I'm a fan of a good Viking row.
Well, they also like those crowds do it right because besides the goofy row that they do, like a lot of those crowds, like they just kind of they all just kind of like put like a hand on each other's shoulder and just like headbang super hard.
It's like circle pitting and push moshing, but everyone's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, are you okay?" Like
picking people up off the ground and like get back up there, have a good time.
Your fucking barista at Starbucks that wears the fucking Norris jewelry is like, "Oh, did I hurt you? Let me get you a beer." Like, everyone's super cool. Like, I missed Cannibal Corpse came here with Amon Amarth. And I was really upset that I missed that because I was like, that would have been a great show. Whatever. I'm sure.
Fun juxtaposition.
Yeah, especially for the pit, like rowing would have been sick. I'm so good for that. Like it just, I'm more into shows for camaraderie, and some people get camaraderie through hardcore dancing and through skanking and through circle pitting and through two-stepping, and that's cool, man. I'm just like someone that's there for the music, and like I don't. It's just not my style, you know.
It has to be a pretty good gig for me to want to actually go out and do it. Like,
I feel like that's also a thing too. Like, I'm not gonna do it for like and this sounds shitty, but like when I'm at a local show, I'm not like really motivated to do it. But if I'm at like if Death Clock put on an actual Death Clock show with like swinging fucking giant amusement park rides of death and flames and like demons coming out of the ground, then I'm gonna fucking push some fuckers around. But like,
sure.
Anything short of that, man, I'm just like, I'm here.
I think a lot of people, obviously, it's just an age thing too. You get older and you're like, no, I'm good. But I'm eternally grateful for those people, especially usually it's younger guys that like want to hop in, like they'll start the pit off like for the first couple of bands. And then they'll, regardless of the size of the show, but like if it's a bigger festival, there's always one going on right away.
I feel like there's always that guy though at every show,
and they need him.
Like,
God bless him.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying like there's always
sometimes it is.
Well, it depends on the show, but there's always, especially when we play, like there's always one guy who's just like, and then just starts running, and I'm like, yeah, dude, go do it. Like we played this show at this place called Witch's Brew. Is like felt like it was in the middle of nowhere. It was like a witch themed bar venue type area. It seems very new. But it was like a smaller show and there was a lot of kids there. And I was just like, oh, like being a weirdo. And there was one point, there was a circle pit going on. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like,
look at you go.
It's not the biggest show in the world. We're just kind of checking this place out. It's different. It's
10 of you running in a circle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like it just makes it fun. You know, it's like, I don't know. There is something to say like metal wouldn't be metal without moshing.
Yeah, it's iconic, man.
It's a part of the brand, and I feel like if the world just as a whole stopped moshing altogether, it would be weird to go to metal shows. But also, I think like it takes all types. You know, like if every single metal show was, hey, you're gonna mosh the whole entire time, and you're gonna like wonder if you still have your wallet and have to find who you came there with at the end and like all this crazy shit. It's like a giant war zone for 2-3 hours. I don't think people would go to them as frequently because it'd be like, I'm not in the mood to be like thrown around a room for 3 hours with 2,000 people.
Oh, and that's why hardcore is the way that it is. It's usually underground. There's lots of house shows still. There's lots of.
Could you imagine like a hardcore? Sorry to cut you off. Could you imagine a hardcore show at like the Steel House where like everyone's going crazy? I couldn't. That'd be insane. Like
Kubla Khan.
Yeah, I guess
that would be probably because that was probably it the whole
closest
time.
thing that's going to happen there anytime soon.
Yeah, because they're traditional like beat down hardcore.
That's true.
I mean, I would say that, and like if like Trapped Under Ice, I'm trying to think of like other bands that would be able to be big enough that like, especially if they toured this way, like would hit that. Hate Breed, maybe at this day and age, but like again, now I'm just thinking of examples, not to that they would be. I'm just like, there's only a few because again, most of like my favorite hardcore bands, they on purpose they either want to play a festival where that's the MO the whole time, or two, they usually will play like a reverb sized place for us locals where it's like we could sell out like a 1,000-seater, but I want 200 people of straight violence that are knowing what they're showing up for.
Sure.
And then they're also still going to sell on merch and shit
like that. I think that's just my taste is like more melodic nowadays as I get older. Like I
you bailed.
I bailed.
Not to interrupt you. I was like, but like you did just go to one. but it got that wild after you were gone.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm saying like it's been a while since I have been like, oh, I'm just gonna go to this show. I don't know. Other than that, I can't think of anyone that I've been to that's like, oh, this is gonna be. I'm gonna have to like fucking go to the side of the room. You know what I mean? Like most metal shows, there is that clear, determined line between the pit and the real world.
Yeah,
and at a good metal show, people know the difference. Sometimes it'll bleed to the other side, and that can be appropriate at times, but sometimes it's not. I feel like the crowd killing and stuff like that, it's just like, I don't know. You got to read the room, buddy. Like if you're not in a show like that, don't be swinging on people's wives and girlfriends and moms and shit like that. That's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like regardless of where you are, like don't do shit like that. But like, it's just, I feel like it's such an interesting thing to see the little ecosphere of metal communities, you know, because it really brings in all types of people.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's true. And that's why
sorry, I was just gonna say the culture has like adapted to be very like open and embracing culture, but you're still gonna have assholes. You know, you're still gonna have people where you're like, oh fuck, this guy's here.
It's true. No, and that's why there's two things I want to kind of bring it to a head here with that is I know I keep bringing up the same thing. I'm not trying to talk in circles, but you know, I think there's a giant move in standard moshing, like and metal, to be respectful of like everybody else around you. Don't like watch out for crowd killers and that. But hardcore is the one exception to the rule where they're like, no, like there's like there's a big push. It's like, no, we want it to be negative. We want it to be violent. Like, don't show up to our shows if you are A, not willing to protect yourself, or B, not willing to throw down. Go stand in the very, very back by the bar then. And then you don't get to hang out up close to the front of the stage because this is what we want to do.
Right.
The culture we're building.
I respect that.
And I respect it too, because then, but like, especially like for real, if you don't know those bands, if you're getting drugged to one of those shows with your friend or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever, and they're not warning you of what's going on, that's on fucking them. And you should be upset with that.
I mean, that's a given.
And two, most people that are showing up to terror know what the fuck is up and where to be. But so can we all agree that there's one person that is the most important part of all mosh pits? We're just going to call them the enforcer, a larger fella or two that'll generally not be moshing and not be at the front, but be at the very back of the pit. Just kind of like when things start to bleed, like you said, just kind of you goofies stay in there.
Well, in an ideal situation, you have multiple people doing that. Like, I mean, because there's like that border where it's like the pit, but not the pit, and there's like some swinging going on. That's pretty much, or maybe people getting pushed into you. But it's kind of like if you're going to be that close to the pit, you kind of have a responsibility to like, keep things there. You know,
help contain this tornado. But there's also because if security starts doing it, that's lame. Because if you have to put the security guard in a point or a position where he actually has to do his job, and then that kind of puts a bummer on the whole fucking thing for everybody. Because then everybody's like, "Oh man, this venue sucks. They're fucking keeping like no mosh pitting, no stage diving." Like you see those signs in the back, and they're like, no one really ever fucking. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna decide a mosh pit. I don't care. If they want to do it, they will. If they don't, they don't. But if you, as a crowd, we all have to agree that like if we have to get security involved, then that puts a damper on everything, because then everyone's walking around on eggshells and is afraid to do that.
Who killed it for everybody else? You know
and then it has to be a security guard, and that sucks. But if we have some big dudes in the pit,
in my opinion, I don't think it's the security guard that's killing the vibe. I think it's if there has a situation where the venue feels like they have to step in, like if someone is clearly fighting, like if two guys are sitting there throwing hands at each other and like kicking each other, or some guy, God forbid, pulls out a knife or something, or grabs a bottle.
This is where it becomes a bummer.
Then it's like, yeah, it sucks that security's coming in. We can't do what we want anymore. But it sucks that guy ruined it for everybody. Because if that guy didn't do what he did, you know, it's like there's a social contract when you walk into these situations.
I think that's exactly right.
You're giving consent for things to happen, yes, but that doesn't give people the excuse to like break the law or like do something that is clearly one step too far. And what sucks is sometimes there's scenes that like look at the hardcore mentality and they like don't self-police, and then it's like, dude, you're putting people in danger. And it's like there's this very fine line of responsibility between who's at fault, because you have all these people that are now in this legal situation where it's like the venue is responsible, the band can be responsible, the personal people involved, depending on what even happened, is responsible.
Yeah.
And it's like
there's liability.
I'm a security guard somewhere, so I also kind of look at it as from that perspective, like what's the liability here if someone actually gets like mauled or fucking like stabbed or trampled or their neck is broken, you know? So it's like, I think the fact that the metal community is so good at self-policing though is like a testament to like how far the culture has come, because
I'd say 99 out of 100 times, like even if it gets super violent, like I haven't had to see someone like really shut it the fuck down.
Yeah.
And when they do, when it's like not even that bad, then it's like then I've seen that a couple of times where like the fucking, I'm not even gonna name venue names, but like back in high school, there was a couple of times at like smaller venues that we would play where like the sound guy would like rip the sound out and be like, stop fucking blah 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 blah, and I'd be like, dude, you are
killing it,
really putting a shit name on this venue for all these people that are going to buy tickets and come out here for any show, like but also at the same time, there's got to be due diligence done by everybody. That's if you're gonna go to those shows, and 90% of the time they are at least 18 years old or higher, most of the time 21 or higher, alcohol's involved. It's a very unique experience that, like, I think, like we said, is very special for however you want to look at it, positive or negatively. It's very uniquely a heavy music thing to do, and like metal in specific is synonymous. Like that is like the one that's tied directly to. And I think you're right. Like a lot of 99 out of 100 times, even if it gets fucking rowdy, it doesn't have to fall on like, fuck, that guy is like absolutely, he wasn't looking to come out here to mosh pit and have a good time tonight. He was like, oh, this is a free chance to go fucking punch somebody in the face tonight and not go to jail.
Or
like, that's
not
the right reason.
Start an issue or just be the tough guy. It's always the dudes that are like puffy chested and like come in there to prove something, kind of a mentality, and they kind of ruin it for everybody. But what's nice is the culture has kind of like, I don't know, shamed people like that to where it's like it's very clear they're not in the group. You know, you're just someone that showed up here, and as far as everyone's concerned, once you start acting that way, and it's like it doesn't win you any brownie points, you know. And that's kind of the ironic thing about it, is like from the outside looking in, if one were to not be a part of the metal community or the hardcore community, they would think that everyone just hates each other. You know what I mean? That's like I would laugh to see what people of other cultures that have no metal in their life at all think of what we do.
It would be probably heathen activity,
right? But like, just like they I don't think they like, sure. And that's not to say there isn't metal from other countries, but like even then, like American metal is very like specific. You know what I mean?
Violent,
and violent and just like crazy and off the wall. It's like what people imagine the Wild West bar fights are, you know. It's like just like that kind of fucking energy, and you're like, am I gonna fucking get hurt? Like
possibly.
Like that shit is wild. So it's just like, it's insane to me that we as a community have been able to keep it going for so long and it not be like martial law out of existence to be honest. Like fucking Footloose or something. They're like, no fucking moshing. We go to the woods to mosh to fucking speakers. But like it's cool to me that we still kind of have this thing from this like 70s and 80s, and it's now like there are so many different types and like activities and
culture
and different things to do that aren't just pushing people, you know, like the rowing, the walls of death, the circle pits. Just like when I went and saw Dragon Force with Anastasia, they had a big plush chicken and they were like, we're going to play this next fucking song, and I want to see this chicken everywhere, and I want to see it up on the balcony, and I want to see it in the front row. And for the next like 5 minutes, people were just like throwing this chicken up the balcony and tossing it down into the pit and like running around with it. Some guy would hold it up in the air in the middle of the pit and people would just do this. Like, it was insane. Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? They did it at different times. And I was like, this is it's a fun little thing that you wouldn't expect to happen. And I feel like when bands can make that experience fun, and like whether that's like angry or not, it elevates the performance and it like justifies it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That was one that I thought was really stupid, and I like videoed it and put it on our Instagram, and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. Like,
one of the best ones that we've been involved in like recently, for example, is it was one that when we were at we played with Warbringer in Lincoln.
What happened then?
A very old man running around the pit with us in a bowling shirt. It was awesome. But like, it was just a bunch of like circle pitting around, running around in circles. Me, Josh, the bass player from Warbringer, and an old man doing push-ups in the middle of a pit.
Nice.
Like, just the five of us, like when people were running a full circle pit around us, there's like 500 people at the bottom of the floor. And just me and this old guy just going one for one doing push-ups. Hilarious. Like, what do you, that's why I said like the best kind of one, because again, like, there were people getting violent, but they would see fucking Edward over here trying to like just have a good time too, and they're like, don't beat him up, he came out to a metal show, fucking protect this man at all costs.
I saw
let him run.
I saw a guy and a girl get married at a Cannibal Corpse show, like in the mosh pit.
That's awesome.
That was cool. There's pictures of it and shit. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. Like, that's an interesting idea. Like, what a weird wedding you had.
I just said no and just kicked him in the fucking face.
we went back in time, and we were a part of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and we got into the Cannibal Corpse scene.
It was sick, dude. It was sick.
If you look, you can see us at 38 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of fun variations in moshing, and it's just been cool to see it evolve, you know, and I'm excited to see what like moshing is like in the future when we're all in VR headsets like the Matrix, and like, I don't know.
I think it'll be one of the few things that'll stay tried and true, my friend.
Yeah. We'll still have moshing. It'll just be virtual moshing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, shit, man. That's about it, dude. Sick of talking to you now. No, man. Well, first of all, thank you all. Like, for real, we got the time to do a little bit extra while we're scheduling out the rest of the season. Like I said, we already have one in the can. Another like pretty important interview, especially to them. That sounds negative, but it'll make more sense when it comes out. It was a big deal to these guys to be able to get back out on the road and do stuff, and so we got a legend for you guys for the next one. Then we have some more younger bands, some stuff in the works from basically, I think where I'm booking from right now is like a couple East Coast bands.
Cool.
So again, we've done a lot of international European stuff in the past 2 seasons. So really wanted to dig back through. We'll take whoever from wherever, like we've said, we vet the process, but that's never a deciding factor is what I'm trying to say. But it very much is just like, I'm into these guys, and I think that you guys would be too if you dig the show. And then to also highlight some stuff that, like you said, maybe you haven't heard of, because they're half the time I'm living under a rock and I look up something, I'm like, this has like 4 million plays, and they played like Glastonbury last year, and I've never fucking heard of them.
I've never related to anything more than you said than that, because like as I get older, I just like, oh, Paleface Swiss, who the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm so out of the loop.
And they sold out like, a Tuesday night in Omaha.
I feel like I was in the loop for so long, and then like something happened, and now I'm just like, what the fuck? And I guess, you know, honestly, it's not that bad of a thing. I think it happened when I deleted Facebook. I've felt, and I've said this to you before, I felt like I'm living in an earlier time. Like, you tell me about shows that are coming up, and that's just kind of the thing I get, and I'm like, cool, I don't need to like see it every day. You know, it's kind of nice, and like that has kind of put me in this mindset where it's like every day is Christmas, because I'm just like something new every day. You know what I mean? It's not, everything isn't so immediate where it's like I don't know. It's weird to describe. Like,
No, it's the truth though. I think that you're living in an earlier time sounds about right. Just when you really disconnect from that kind of stuff and it's not becoming like a part of your normal routine. And it's like when you left the house in the 90s, man. Like we remember it's just like, hey, can Timmy come out to play? He's like, oh no, he's over at Joey's until like 6 and he's coming back for dinner. But you
yeah,
could probably
call
catch
our
him tomorrow.
landline later. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then you'd have
All
dinner
right.
and call your friend later and be
I
like,
guess
"Is
I'm
he
not
home?"
hanging out with Joey today because he's not anywhere I can find him.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
It
Like,
feels a lot like that.
it's getting kind of closer to that. It's not totally that obviously because of where we're at in the world, but like it's nice. So like even musically, I have like slowed down and like just kind of like dived into the songs that I have and gotten into some stupid humor music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sushi Glory Hole. Imagine that. But yeah, but I'm just like, I don't know. It's been fun to kind of like rediscover different genres of music, I guess, and like take it slower. And then when I do find something new, it's like I appreciate it that much more rather than like, oh, I found 14 new bands today and I'm going to try and listen to all of them. It's like I felt like I was doing too much there for a while, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
that's teenage behavior anyways too. Younger person, like you're really trying to, there's the natural like wanderlust to figure out who you are when you're that young. And I think that like they say that like your music of your formidable years really shapes, like that's why we're doing a podcast about metal now.
What it is. Maybe it's just getting older in general.
Yeah, I think that as much as like it's one of those things like, yeah, your parents are right and you hate to admit it, but it's like that. It's more, I think it's just humanity. We know who you are, you know what you like, and now it's like when you find something that like with me with sumo, like, and I found that like 4 or 5 years ago and really started to give a shit about it about 2 years ago. And then like now it's something that I follow quite closely and like it's something I really care about, but it's a very defined niche where I was just like, you know what, like it's passing multiple steps of the vetting process. It isn't just like, oh, this is hot, so I should like it. Like, you know, when you're young, you're very impressionable, and the older that you get and the more you already have that experience and know what you like and just don't care for, you don't have to hate it. Because I think I've also softened on a lot of opinions, like things I don't care for. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't really care about Sleep Token, but like I'm not going to be like, fucking sucks.
Yeah, like, I get that. Yeah,
I get why you like it. I see it. Cool aesthetic, talented guys.
It's easier to see those things as you get older too. And it's like, yeah, I'm definitely set in my ways with style and with what actually like excites me with music. But like, I guess maybe there's not as much of it around right now. So when it does come around, it's like exciting for me. But like,
yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's more exciting when
like,
you see things that interest you at this point. It's actually interesting you.
Yeah, you're not just like filling that void of like, who am I? Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure. But well, guys, thank you for listening and watching. We love you. If you haven't yet, check us out on patreon.com/Metal Massacre. You get behind the scenes from all of our concerts, stupid videos right there. Just goofy stuff that people don't get to see when we go out. And we got a lot of fun content on there as well. I've got a horror host show, some other cool stuff. Yeah, we're going to be adding some stuff on there this summer. Discord.gg/Metal Massacre is the place to be if you want to hang out with us, play some games. We got someone in there right now playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, just hanging out without us in our Discord.
Yeah, so get in there. It's free to be there, and you can find some cool people to hang out with. So
yeah, we try and offer as much as we can for free. But if you have any bucks to toss our way at either one of those areas, great, appreciate it. It all gets reinvested back into the show to try and add to our merch designs and add to all that kind of stuff, which we did a pop-up not long ago. We've got plans to continue to try and like build more stable, like permanent merch. But yeah, I guess while we're growing the show, we're just doing one-offs and things here and there. If you do want to pick up some merch, metalmerch.net is where you go. Very easy to remember. We don't even need a pop-up for it, Dusty. Metalmerch.net. Yes. Go there. There's probably a promo code on the homepage for free shipping or something. Deathcast merch. Exclusive merch from stupid side projects we do, just fun stuff. There's even that blanket. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that blanket. We all have that blanket. Well, we made you one. So go to metalmerch.net and check it out. You guys, thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for supporting us. And thanks for listening. If you got this far in, hey, you're one of the real ones. And we'd love to see you in that Discord. Have a good night. Be good people. And don't leave the light on. Farewell, citizens.